Today we're talking about the end of Secret Weapons.
Or is it the beginning of Secret Weapons?
You are now watching WhoDooTV.
Welcome back to WhoDooTV. I'm Hooser.
And I'm Jared.
Today we are talking about Secret Weapons number 4, the end of a great miniseries. Again, it's written by Eric Heisserer, art by Raul Allen and Patricia Martin on letters and colors. A great looking book again.
Yeah, this book just keeps giving it. I mean, it's just amazing. We're going to be getting into this one pretty deep. We'll be getting into some spoilers. If you haven't read this yet and you want to keep things spoiler free, just hit pause. We'll be here when you get back after you read the book.
Make sure you check out our other videos of issue number 1, 2, and 3. So good we had to do it 4 times. So here we are again. And we left off with Livewire having been caught by Rexo and the Scavenger. And she's left for her team, or her misfits may you call, to come find her.
In this book, I mean, as soon as you open it up, you're right in the Scavenger's lair. The Scavenger is kind of doing his monologue thing, talking about, you know, who he is, what his plan is. It's the big, evil, bad guy monologue. Exactly. I mean, it's great. It shows his arrogance, really, and yeah, it's interesting,
right? And I love the way Livewire just kind of, I guess, would be like playing posse, playing coy. You know what I mean? She totally just like, you idiot, you know, like in a really weird way. And this guy thinks he's got it all figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We learn that he is a psyop, and his power is to create junk into making things work. And so he even calls himself, I'm Harada's secret weapon.
Right.
And so he talks about how, like Rexo has the guy's power from the first issue to make things glow, and it created light, right? And he's like, see, there is a power, there is useful for that power. And he wants to make Rexo into the ultimate weapon to go against the hardcore. So he thinks he's actually doing really good. Another Harada type thing. I think I'm doing well to do this. I'm going to save this and kill this hardcore.
Right. He's talking about, I mean, it's kind of utilitarianism. Kill a few to save many in a way. So he thinks he's a good guy, but, you know, when it comes down to it, when you have to kill people to get what you want, it's a little gray.
Right. And you probably shouldn't be doing it against Livewire.
Right, yeah.
Just to say a little bit. And then we also got the team looking for her, trying to figure out where Livewire is. Nikki sends out the birds. Owen goes walking and chasing them down. Ultimately, they kind of figure out where they were going.
Yeah. I loved the conversation between Nikki and the birds. I mean, she's sitting in a park, and there's just a bunch of doves on this jungle gym, and she's chatting with them pretty much. And, I mean, got to give an MVP to the birds here, because they kind of figured out Rexo's weakness.
They are pretty clever, right?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of that, within the Play Jungle Gym, the art there that they've done, that Raul Allen, Patricia Martin did, is just magnificent. They were definitely part of the storytelling team in this whole series.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, everything about this book is just so well thought out. I mean, I don't know what the planning was like on this, they really killed it.
And then we just get into where Livewire ends up getting some tech, stopping the plan, and uses the police's anti-psyop tank to take out the Scavenger.
Right, yeah. I mean, the Scavenger tried to get rid of anything that was technological, but he didn't realize that she can handle things, even the smallest little bit of technology. I think she used just a small little regulator or like an RFID chip or anything in there just to get a little bit of an edge. And I mean, yeah, she kind of showed him what's the what to and what for. So
right,
yeah,
right. And then we get into this instant battle with Rexo, with Avi, Owen, and Nikki, and just their use of teamwork.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, just the fact that if there was only one of them, they wouldn't have been able to defeat Rexo. And that's kind of the theme of this book, is this teamwork, and the fact that it requires all of them to work together to kind of play their part. And I mean, it was played out so well. Right. I think it was really good.
And just that image of Owen after Nikki gets hurt was such a cool little picture, with his eyes lighting up all Pete Stanchek style. And it was just like, no, you didn't touch my best friend, you know, and drops the tank or the piano and the forklift and just kind of just takes out Rexo.
Right.
Like, boom, like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it showed a lot more, I guess, a connection to his emotions and how that plays out in his ability to conjure up the things that he wants to conjure up. I mean, he got freaked out that, Nikki may be really injured and he just wanted to cause a bunch of pain. And, rather than conjuring up a balloon when he didn't want one, it happened to be, these things that actually caused damage. So that's shows some growth in him, which is really neat.
Right. And then that ultimately leads to them winning this little war, right? Coming together as a team and realizing they are a team. And we get the lifetime moment at the end where it all kind of gets wrapped up into this cute little bow.
Right.
Letting us know that a lot of different things with this, that there's going to be more of them. They are going to create a team. But really had some underlining of acceptance, of being part of something and having family.
Yeah. And it was almost like just being okay with who you are as well, and that you belong. It just had a great message to it. And I think you say the lifetime ending, and it is a little cheesy, but I think it just plays well to kind of the tone of this book and who the characters are. And I mean, it was Owen who suggested the hug pile. So it just played so well to who he was and the kind of his goofy character and how he kind of likes to think out of the box a little bit.
Right. And part of that bow, Livewire talks about their powers, and she basically says, I'm more proud of you than any team I've been a part of. That's the Harada Foundation. That's unity. Pretty impressive words to say. So it does get a really cool picture of Livewire, very humanistic, right? Very caring, very piece of that. But then she talks about how Nikkis Power, like you could talk to birds. Have you tried talking to any other animals?
Yeah.
So leaves that.
She talked to everybody too. I mean, Avi, she said, you can turn yourself into stone. Maybe you can turn other things into stone.
Right. She even goes, you're even turning your own clothes into stone.
Right.
Maybe you could turn maybe other people or other things. Let's think bigger. So that was cool. And then she goes over the things that, outside of the shotgun that he conjured in the Home Depot, the balloon that you talked about earlier. It was a hydrogen balloon, and he shot it, and it burnt Rexo to get him away.
Right.
When they were running in issue 1 with the umbrella, and he used it to pull down the ladder to get away. And then when he was hurt and he was conjuring everything in the sky, that didn't really work. But she talked about how his emotion is really attached to the things that he is conjuring. And he just got to be creative, and they got to get in control of that. And he actually has some pretty amazing powers if they get to that emotional under control and realize what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, this just really shows how much Livewire understands about this stuff and how good of a fit she is as a leader for this team. She sees the good in everybody and the potential in all these people. And I mean, I want to see more. I want to see them, going and looking for some of these other rejects, and, creating something so good and big and, other pieces of this larger puzzle to become just this, unstoppable team, if you will. I mean, I don't mean to make them into some, militant group, but I mean, it's cool. It's into their family. Let's say that, And they're becoming like one of the better groups. I mean, they may be replacing Gen Zero type of thing, but they're their own element. It's really cool. And getting on to the writing on it, I don't know if I could say anything that hasn't already been said about Heisserer. Good job. Yeah, I mean, just 2 thumbs up for Heisserer. This whole thing was great. I gotta say, the only thing that caught me a little off guard was near the end, there seemed to be a little bit of a blossoming romance between Nikki and Owen. And I guess I didn't see that. I thought they were good friends for a moment. So it kind of caught me a little off guard. But it also seemed, if you looked at the artwork that went with that, the way that they framed this moment, it was a heart shape made out of segmented squares, and which kind of tells me okay, this is something that is starting. This is something that isn't complete. Like the squares aren't complete, so there is still some pieces that need to be put together on this. So kind of just made it seem more like this is something that could be. And the most that they did was hold hands, really.
Right, and it could just be best friends, right?
Yeah.
You don't really know all of their stories yet. Right. And to move it up at the very end of the book, it says Nikki Returns in number 0. In January, they're going to have a one-shot all about Nikki. It's all Nikki's story of when she got activated, basically till the end of the Willows gets ransacked. And that was by Omen. Right, so that's one thing we didn't talk about. Omen ransacks, and so it goes all the way from when she got into the Willows and gets activated all the way to Omen basically takes over the Willows. So that's coming, and then maybe I hope we get another one of those of each of those guys. Hopefully, get one of Owen. Hopefully, we get one of Avi. I think it'd be great, and the mindset and how that looks is going to be a great one shot. So yeah, I think there's more to it. We may have no idea, you know.
Yeah.
There's other pictures to it, but their art, like you said, just the subtle pieces of the art are pretty amazing. The way they showed emotion with the characters, it was great. Like I can't really say bad about it, really.
Right. It's
outside of a hug pile.
I know you take issue with that. I feel it was appropriate. I'm gonna give you a hug pile after this.
Oh God! Don't threaten me with a good time.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
So what are you gonna score this book?
Yeah, this one. I mean, this is a 5. This book is amazing. It's the writing is just so on point. The artwork just flows so well. It's a completely succinct collaboration between the writer and the artist, and just the story as well that's coming out of this. Everything is just amazing. It's a 5 for this book, and if we're closing this this miniseries off, it's a 5 for the miniseries. I mean, I feel like after 4 issues, I know these characters so well. I want to see so much more of them. They make me excited. I really cared about what happened to them at the end of this book. I mean, when Livewire was telling them, you know, here's the potential for your powers, that made me so excited for them. It was great. This whole thing is.
You wanted to join the hug pile.
That's why I like it so much. I want to be a part of that hug pile.
Oh, dog pile. How cute is that?
Yeah. What would you give?
If you give it a 5, and I give it a 5, we got a 10.
That's 10. Right. A total 10.
A 10.
A 10.
All right. So we got a 10 here. Yeah, I can't give much of this. Right. It played out. Right. It played out really well. Beginning, middle, end, right? It really had it, and it leaves the door wide open for what's going to happen, where it's going to continue. I want to see how this book continues more into the Valiant universe, continues more into Harbinger Wars 2. I'm excited. Eric Heisserer is writing Harbinger Wars 2 with Matt Kent, and that is a great tag team combo. Raul Allen's also going to be writing or doing some art in it, and Tomas Giarello is going to be doing some art in Harbinger Wars 2.
Oh, that's great.
So December, if you collected Harbinger Renegades number 1 through 4 and sent in those coupons, you'll be getting Harbinger Wars 0 written by Matt Kent. And I hope there's some play in there with that Harbinger Wars 2 0 issue as well. That's going to be sent out, not for sale, because you had to collect the coupons to get it. And so that leaves me excited what's going to happen there. But ultimately, great book. Overall, awesome story. Stupid superhero powers that are actually pretty darn cool. So,
this book I'm going to read multiple times. I know that. It's just something I'm probably going to return to a lot. I mean, I guess I'll leave that as a question to you guys. How many times are you guys going to read through this series?
I know I'm going to read through it again when I get that local comic book day Deluxe Edition. That's me. So, pick it up. Go get it. Tell us what you guys think about it.
Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below.
There's also that subscribe button down there too. Make sure you punch that. We'd appreciate it. Follow us at Twitter at WhoDooTV, also on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank our friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. Be sure to check them out. They got all sorts of nerdy stuff on there.
Links down in the description. Thank you for watching WhoDooTV. We appreciate you guys.